Hey everybody, welcome back to the Working Man's Whiskey. I'm Bobby. Whiskey I'd like to review today is something that's pretty special stuff. Not one that you would probably consider a working man's whiskey. It's a little bit more expensive, but it's one of my favorite whiskeys, guys, and I wanted to share this with you. I don't buy this too often. It's generally up around $50 or so. I actually got a very good deal on it, on sale in the 30s. Yeah, I don't get a chance to buy too many bottles of this one. I like to stick around the $30 range or less. Like we usually review here. But I just like I said, I wanted to do something a little special. We just had Christmas. It was kind of a tough year for my family and I overall, but just thankful for what we have and thankful for you guys watching these reviews. I didn't used to like talking in front of people. That's one of the reasons I started doing these reviews. I love whiskey, and this is kind of an event for me. Talking to you guys about something that I enjoy and appreciate it. And me sharing this with you is, just my way of saying thanks. I actually do want to review, I'd like to review a few whiskeys that cost a little bit more, mainly because I've been given gifts of some very good whiskeys recently from family and friends, and they're just they're good whiskeys that I feel need to be talked about. I'm still going to be doing the working man's whiskeys, but we'll call these kind of special, little bit higher price ones, payday whiskeys. We'll go with that. Anyway, this one is Baker's, and it's one of the small batch bourbons made by Jim Beam. You have Baker's, you have Booker's, you have Knob Creek, which we've reviewed. Knob Creek also has a rye version. They make a rye version of Knob Creek, which we'll review at some point. And you have Basil Hayden's. And all of those whiskeys are very good in their own right. Baker's, this one here, happens to be my favorite of all the small batch Jim Beam bourbons. So I thought we'd review this and tell you a little bit about it, guys. So as we know, Jim Beam's been around a long time. One of the most storied American whiskeys or bourbons there is. Jacob Beam started the company. Well, he started the original line of Beam whiskeys, I'll say. Back in 1795, he made his first barrel of whiskey and sold it. He called it Old Jake Beam was the name of the whiskey. It was Old Jake Beam, and his first distillery was called Old Tub. And the Beam family's been around a long time. Like I said, that was 1795. Fred Noe is one of the great grandsons of Jacob Beam, and he's seventh generation family member to still be distilling, as the master distiller of Jim Beam. And Baker's here was named for Baker Beam, who is Jim Beam's grandnephew. And Baker Beam has been with Jim Beam since the 1950s. And this is his recipe, as I know, as far as I know. This is his recipe. It's been around. They've been making Baker's since 1992 or so. And it's very good stuff. 107 proof, 53.5% alcohol by volume. And I'll read you the back of this bottle here. It is a small batch. Take that for what it for what it is. Small batch, all it has to mean is 100 barrels or less. This bottle contains 100 barrels or less of this particular batch of bourbon, and could mean it's made up of 10 barrels, just a few barrels, or up to 100. So either way, it's when you compare it to hundreds of barrels or thousands of barrels being produced over there in Claremont, Kentucky. It's 100 barrels really isn't that much, guys. So I'll read you the back of this. It says Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. My bourbon follows our Beam family tradition of putting our best secrets inside the bottle, not here on the label. I've distilled 6 generations of bourbon skill into this bottle. That's a lot of secrets. Please savor its smooth flavor over ice with a splash of water, or however you take your bourbon. And you guys, and that's Baker Beam saying that. And you guys know that I personally like my bourbon neat. This one's no exception. I know that it's 107 proof, but and I've heard people say that this has some spice in it. It's going to be a little not just rye. It has the rye spice, but it has baking spices in it. The taste of baking spices, and when you add water, they say that you can taste a little more of the sweeter flavors in this. And some of that spice goes away a bit. Don't really want to do that myself. I do like the spice, so anyway, we're gonna put a little bit more in there actually. All right. So look at the color here, guys, and it's a 7-year-old bourbon. Been in the barrel for 7 years, and it's got some good char in there. It's a medium to dark amber, and just on sight alone, this is the kind of bourbon I like. I can tell that this is going to have a lot of character. It's going to have, some good char in there, as I said. And, this is how I like my bourbons. I like a little bit of that darker amber color. Nothing against lighter colored bourbons and whiskeys. I like them too, but as far as my favorite whiskeys, this is what how they appear to look. So anyway, let's go for the nose. And on the nose, guys, I mean, this is a great bourbon. I mean, a great nose. You get the get a lot of caramel, toffee. Get a lot of fruit on the nose. Not just lighter fruits. You do get a lot of apple. Apple's the main one I get, but you also get some cherries in there. Just all kinds of. You definitely get a lot of fruit and some spice. You can definitely smell the spice. Baking spices mainly, and definitely get some oak. And one of the reasons this is probably my favorite whiskey, favorite go-to whiskey that's still affordable, even though it's a little more expensive than what we usually do. One of the reasons it's my favorite is it's got everything that I want in a bourbon, guys. It's got sweetness. It's got that spice in there. It's got the oakiness in there. Just a well-balanced bourbon. So let's give it a taste. And on the palate, guys, it just, you get that, same things we get on the nose. You get that caramel and just the sweetness, from the corn, of course. But, I think with that barrel char, coupled with the barrel char, gives you, molasses, brown sugar. And get a lot of that fruit still, that baked apples, cherries, just cherry pie, apple pie. It's a lot of vanilla in there. I mean, it's got everything that you want that I want in the bourbon. So give it another taste. It's got the baking spices up front, but then on the finish you get you get that rye spice, more of that rye spice. You know, it's just such a complete whiskey to me. You know, just a great bourbon. You know, I wouldn't want them to bottle this any less. I love that it's at 107 proof. You know, anything less than 100 proof for this one, just I don't think it would quite taste finished. You know, I mean, it's that higher proof. You do get a little bit of the you know, alcohol. I mean, you know, it's gonna pack a little punch at 107 proof, guys. Not quite like Booker's. I mean, I love Booker's, but that one's up around 120 proof or so. But this one is just perfect the way it is. Like I said, I wouldn't add water. You can add water if you want. It just you know, all in what your taste is, you know. And yeah, guys, I don't know if you can find this everywhere you go. I know around here they don't have it everywhere. Mainly in restaurants, a few bars, not too many bars around here carry Bakers. But specialty liquor stores, you know, this was the last bottle at Bevmo of Baker's, and I had to get it. I mean, one, it was on sale, and two, it's not, as I said, it's not something that I get a chance to buy all the time. You know, just it's usually a little over my personal budget. So anyway, if you guys get a chance to find some Bookers, definitely buy it. Definitely try it out if you'd like to try it out first at, you know, whatever wherever you can find it, whatever restaurant or bar you can find it at. But I definitely highly recommend this one, guys. And yeah, that's it. And hope everybody had a Merry Christmas. Hope you all have a Happy New Year. Be safe. Don't drink a bunch of Bakers and drive anywhere. You know, get an Uber, get a ride, whatever. But definitely try this one out, guys. And thanks for sharing all these you know, all these reviews with me. I appreciate every bit of it. And until next time, cheers, guys.